I can't believe how uneducated we are at how we do meetings and how we do agendas and how we communicate together. And I think it's because we think we've got the language for it, but we do not.
So welcome to Who's Elvis Round Here, which is my podcast where I get to talk to some of the coolest leaders on the planet and find out what makes them tick and what they think we can do better every day to release the genius of our people. And I have some fantastic guests here. And this week it is a corker. I've got a good friend, Dolly, with us today. Dolly, lovely to have you here. Welcome to the podcast. Tell the listeners a little bit about yourself.
Well, I love that you've said I could be one of the cool people. I've always wanted to be in the cool gangs. That's great.
Always.
Yes. So I'm Dolly. I run a consultancy business called the People Performance Consultancy, where I help leaders and teams position themselves for fast growth and have joy and hope and humanity intact. I'm really competitive, so I love working in business. I love people making money, but doing it well. I've got 4 children. Oldest is 17, youngest is 9, and I live in West Sussex, near the seaside.
Oh, very nice. How very nice it is. We've got a few things in common. One is our kind of attitude on life. Another thing, we do leadership with energy. And, but the other thing is we share a designer. Karen designed both of our books.
Ka-ching.
Ka-ching.
I was
and there
so
it is.
inspired by yours, to be honest. I said, can you just make mine look a bit like this?
Well, I've seen the layouts of it. It looks fantastic. We can get into some of the stuff from that book in a bit, but therefore our Venn diagram overlaps rather beautifully, Dolly. So it's very good to have you here. So the starting question is this: what is the story you love to tell that people love to hear?
So 5 years ago, I was at a wall in my life with so much energy and drive, but didn't know what to do. I was a vicar's wife, stay-at-home mum, parish life, but with a lot of drive. I'd been grateful for a great education, been brought up in a successful family business, didn't know what to do with all of that. So I went away for a day and looked in the mirror a lot, like physically. And I think I looked in the mirror because I didn't really know what else to do on my own. I was a bit bored. I thought I'd have some reflection. So I started looking in the mirror and I got beyond looking at, oh, I look tired, I look old, my hair needs doing, whatever, and started to really look at my eyes. And I had never done this before, but I just had what I call a jolly good look. And I saw a woman who was trapped. And on the outside, you wouldn't have known. I was happy. I had so much to be happy for. I was enjoying ministry life in a way. But I saw that there was someone trapped. And I, over that day, cried a lot and said, I'm not going to forget you. I want to let you out. And I didn't even know what that meant. I just went, I'm committed to that woman coming out. So I went home and I called a family meeting with my 4 kids and my ex-husband then. And I said, here's the thing. So they're my stakeholders, right? I went to my key stakeholders and I said, I need to change. I need to change the rules. Something's off with me and I want to be my best self and there's someone lost. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I know I need to dedicate 1 day a week to this person. And I need you guys to buy in and I need you guys to just self-manage. Jim, my ex-husband, you need to look after the kids on Wednesdays. That was his day off. Kids, you can't come and get me for anything unless your head's falling off. That's my day.
Yeah.
And I ring-fenced time for something I knew that needed me. And I started with a desk going, what the heck do I do? I don't know. I have been a vicar's wife for, at that point, 15 years. Not much of a CV. What do I even want to do? And so I did 2 things. I typed into Google, what shall I do? And I prayed because I have a faith in God and I went, God, what should I do? And the only thing that popped into my mind was phone someone that does something cool. So I phoned a guy that I thought, I like his job. I wonder what he does. And I phoned him and I followed what I then call the breadcrumbs and trail of each phone call opening up another opportunity to another opportunity to another opportunity, which became a tactic for me. And in essence, I changed the rules of my life and found this part of myself, which is ambitious, career driven. And I now run a business and work with leaders around the world. But I mean, that sounds very grand, mainly England, a few around the world. And
It counts. It still
that,
counts.
someone in the Isle of Wight, that counts as international, maybe. um, and I followed the breadcrumbs and I phoned probably over 1,000 people in 2 years as part of a
Wow.
tactic. Yeah. And every single person I phoned, I said, who do you know that I need to know? And I found my spaces through phone calls, through humans, and I've been completely unlocked. And I now, it's kind of hard to package it, but I now realize that everything I've experienced in my life, from being brought up in a luxury jewelry business to working as a vicar's wife with people coming out of prison, has all kind of mashed itself up into this space I'm in now, where I love working with people. People are people, but the narrative's different. Everyone has a goal. And some people are really ambitious with their goals. And that's how I found myself where I am.
What a wonderful story. And I believe I was part of the breadcrumbs. So
Oh, you were a whole Hovis loaf.
But what a great thing to do. And look, there's a few things that really strikes me about that. The first one, I mean, quite literal reflection.
Yeah.
Looking at myself in a mirror. And I've done that an exercise quite a few times on different workshops where you just stare into each other's eyes for like 10 minutes. And it is one of the most confronting things I've ever seen people experience, because we're just not comfortable with it, right? And actually, you go into a different level of consciousness when you do it. And it sounds really hippie, but you do. If people listening have never tried it, try it. It is deeply revealing. But I've never heard somebody have the breakthrough looking at themselves in a mirror. And now, we've all got mirrors. Why are we not spending more time just going, who is that? Is there somebody else in there that maybe could be released? In your case, very much so.
I mean, I actually sometimes take mirrors as a give out for teams as a kind of memory, and I've trademarked the concept of mirror moment. It's one of my tactics in my book. Even now, though, being really honest, sometimes I do it now and I don't want to look.
I get it.
I feel it. I look and I go, I don't want to see it. I don't want to. And because there is that saying, your eyes are the window to the soul.
So much so.
And actually, it's quite scary if you have to confront unhappiness, unrest, chaos, loneliness, whatever it is. It's affronting.
The thing is, once you see it, you have to do something with it. That's the problem. You're calling yourself out, which is, you couldn't avoid it, right? Once you've seen it. I mean, to talk to 1,000 people takes a certain amount of energy and dedication.
Yeah.
And actually, to have that kind of inspiration from just really acknowledging where you're at and what you want to do differently. I think it's a wonderful story.
Funnily enough, it wasn't like a target, though. It wasn't like, I've got to finish people. But I remember hearing John Maxwell, leadership guru. I love him to bits. And I heard him say once, every phone call you finish, say to the person, who do you know that I need to know?
Sure. It's a great question.
I just hooked onto that. And so I would phone people and go, thanks for this conversation. I mean, I was really strategic. I got to the point of going, people are really busy, right? Why do they want to speak to Dolly? So people love being asked for advice. So I would phone through that lens and go, could I have 20 minutes of your time, please? I'd love to ask you 3 questions and get your advice on your space. 20 minutes. And I was really strict with that and respected that. And I would always end at the end with, I really appreciate that. Who do you know from part of the conversation on that bit that I could meet that knows a little bit more about that? And they go, oh, sure, let me introduce you. And people like that when you don't need anything from them other than just valuing them.
Yeah.
But then it's a really amazing thing, because it's like iron sharpens iron, as a great proverb. You sharpen yourself to go, oh, I don't want anything to do with that they talked about, but now I know about it. I love that bit. I'm interested in that bit. What's that? So I love that we cross-pollinate. I see it in business now. Like a big passion I have in business is, what resources, i.e. people, are we not sharpening from? That cross-functional space. It's it's something that I think is dynamite if you utilize it.
I know, I agree. What a wonderful thing to do. I'm also very interested, obviously, a question that popped up in my head, mischievous as it is.
Go on.
You ask Google and you ask God, who came through?
To be honest, I think it was God because
Oh, there we go.
yeah, it was. Well done, God. 1 to God, 0 to
Faith
Google.
is solid.
Yeah.
Some would say Google is God, but that's a whole different debate. That's a whole different debate. Okay, so look, I love that story. That gives me a real sense for actually some very practical things that we can do differently to unlock more of ourselves. So fantastic. Second question then. Look, you do a lot in the leadership space, you do teams, you do culture. What is the one thing that you think leaders need to do to unlock the genius of their people?
So it's actually from the therapeutic space. I think everybody needs to fully understand the drama triangle. And I think that if I had to boil it down, I think it covers or uncovers your ego. It enables you to communicate more effectively. It enables you to be objective. It enables you to have empathy. I just think it hits so many markers.
Yeah, so my wife also is a massive fan of the drama triangle, funnily enough.
Right.
I hear it on a regular basis. For those people who don't know it,
Yeah.
Can you just explain it? It's just top line, what it is and how it works.
So a triangle has 3 points. There are 3 points of behavior to simplify life when we are stressed, triggered, whatever it is that we by default go to. One is the role. It's like a role, a script in a dynamic. One role we play is the victim. And the victim looks like this is happening to me. There's nothing I can do. I don't have enough time.
It's unfair.
It's unfair. My boss is the problem. It's always something else that's causing your problem. That's the victim. But if there's a victim, there has to be another role in the triangle, which is the persecutor. So the persecutor could be the boss, the whoever, the budget, the government. But if you are in a persecutor role, you are cross with everyone. It's what they're doing wrong. They should be better. This should be different. Why can't you sort your stuff out, etc. So it's a judgment role. So if there's a persecutor and a victim, the other point of the triangle is there needs to be a superhero to rescue this problem. So the superhero looks like, oh, you're having such a tough time. Let me help you. Let me cook for you. Let me do your job for you. Let me say yes to everything so you don't have to experience the pain points. The point is that we play all 3 roles simultaneously in life. We can switch. If we're the victim one moment, we then might turn into a persecutor and blame. But then we might flip round and try and rescue ourselves by doing more and working harder. So that's the drama triangle. The solution to the drama triangle is to recognize where you are in it and then invert the triangle so that the 3 points still stand, but you're in different spaces. So the victim becomes the creator. So it's not denying problem. It's going, wow, this is really hard. What can I do about it? Where's my agency? How could I approach this differently? How could I self-manage more effectively? So it's ownership. The persecutor on the inversion becomes the challenger, which rather than, Chris, you're useless, you're not working hard enough, do better. It's, hey, Chris, I've noticed this is a pattern in your life. What are you going to do about it? Because it's undermining you, for example. And then the superhero inverts to the coach, which is rather than rescuing, it's enabling someone to figure it out for themselves.
Wonderful. And the beauty of these types of frameworks, and this one is particularly strong at it, is it just helps people get a different perspective to become unstuck and become more fluid and have more choice. Absolutely. With the awareness. Yeah. So my presumption would therefore be, if you want your people to be brilliant, they need to understand that dynamic and then learn through live situations on where they play and how they can change it depending on what shows up. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Brilliant. Great tip. Love that one. Hey, but I'm going to throw in a bonus question because this is your world. So if there's one thing in business that really, really gets your goat, that you think should be changed, that you see in businesses all around the place because it's just standard kind of practice, what would that one thing be, Dolly?
Well, I it's more of a concept than than giving you just,
Okay.
you know,
I'll take a concept.
yeah. It's language. So yeah. So I studied English language and did quite a lot of speciality in linguistics. And I don't know if you know this, but I'm sure you do. But most tribes or social groups are inhabiting their experience their life through the language that they have.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
for example, and this is contextual for where I'm going with business. For example, the Aboriginal language is extremely navigationally heavy with its vocabulary. So,
Right.
in Aboriginal language, if you had a fly on your elbow, in that language, you would say, "Oh, Chris, you have a fly on your northeasterly southern tip of your right hemispherical elbow." You wouldn't even need to look; you just know exactly where it is.
Yeah.
Whereas in English, I go, "Chris, you've got a fly on your elbow." Right there, that language means that their performance to kill the fly would be far superior than yours.
Sure.
Yeah. And this is called linguistic relativity and determinism. If anyone's interested, look it up, it's fun. But in business, our language can enable high levels of performance or not. So if we have language and it's over familiarized language that loses its nuance, like, "Oh, we just got to get better communication," or let's have a meeting, let's have an agenda. Words like that are completely diluted and mean, can I swear?
Oh,
Yeah.
please do.
Mean fuck all most
Fuck
of the
all,
time.
indeed. Yeah.
I can't believe how uneducated we are at how we do meetings and how we do agendas and how we communicate together. And I think it's because we think we've got the language for it, but we do not. So I constantly, my clients, they know me well now. I go, what's another word for that? What's another word for that? What's another word for that? Because if we're living by old words that have a kind of familial experience that isn't really serving us, we need to change the language. And, you know, I learned this rubber hitting the road. My big challenge of going into business, having been a vicar's wife, was my language. That's what hit me to start with. I just knew kind of lots of loose words. I didn't know poignant words in business. So I had to really up my lexicon to understand how to articulate myself better. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
So it sounds like a small thing, but
I think it's huge. I think it's huge, Dolly. I'm totally with you. Language is everything. It orientates us. It's the way we process. It's the way we get energy or we lose energy. But practically, so instead of saying meeting or agenda, what do you help people do to make sure they've got more precision?
So I say rather than having a meeting, it's coaching questions essentially, but it's so that what? You want a meeting so that what? Well, so that we're all aligned. Aligned on what? It's just asking those kind of, the five whys, blah, blah, blah. But actually, what's the so what? And then why do we need that person? So actually, is it a meeting for information? No, it's a specific tactical exploration session you need. Fine, let's call it that.
That's different.
It is different, but if we come to it, just let's have a meeting. We do the same thing every time, call everybody in, and no one's paying attention. So it's getting really specific about the so that what. We just need to communicate better. So that what.
I agree. I mean, I don't go to a meeting unless there's a clear objective, and I need to understand why I'm there, what I have to produce. But so many people do. So many people, they just rock on up. They've got no idea what they should be doing. They don't know what the objective is. They don't know how to behave. Literally halfway through, they're going, "Why am I here? I mean, it's such a waste of talent and energy." So the specificity that you are recommending, God, I'm glad I got that the second time.
Well done.
I do want to go through. I think it's absolutely vital. And what it does is it shows respect for talent, right? Because most of the time that people, are booking these things in, it's just lazy. They're just, they're not doing the effort that we need to engage people.
Well, it is lazy, but it's also easier on the brain to just do what we've always done. So we are lazy humans, aren't we? Because actually to change or do something different requires a different energy. And that's the thing. Whenever you want to change, it requires some energy. Yeah. And many of us feel depleted. So it's a kind of catch-22.
I agree. But the language thing I'm really hot on. Funnily enough, I was just doing a gig for the NHS this week.
Oh, yeah.
And they were talking about line managers. And I went, oh, I had a real reaction to the term line manager.
Yeah.
You know, and what do? I manage them because they can't do it themselves. So I have to do it for them.
You're right.
Taking all the responsibility away from the team. It's nuts.
I know a few companies where they, it's not common, but a few companies call their managers coaches. They've changed it. So actually you get elevated to coach. Imagine just going in with that space of actually I'm a coach, I'm not a manager.
It's a different power. Yeah, and don't even get me started on supervisor. Anyway, that's a whole other thing. But language power, I like that. Now then, this is going to be a terrible question for you because you don't do this at all. But, you know, where do you get your fun from?
Love it. So fun is an extremely resilient practice. I've been through some stuff. Like I've had a really tough years, and I have managed to come through it with fun as a core enabler of resilience. So do you know what I do if I just need some quick fun? I do two things. One of two things. One of them is just so obvious and might not be anyone else's cup of tea. I just listen to Michael McIntyre for 10 minutes.
You're not alone. A lot of people will confess to that. Yeah.
I bloody love that man. He just turns me on a dial. But the other thing is I put rollerblades on. And I'm not good. I'm 6 foot, and in rollerblades I'm about 9 foot, and I'm not very good. But I love it. The reason I love it is because I'm not good yet, but I can improve. Number one.
Sure.
So I get better every time. Number two, it's a bit like being a kid. You just feel a bit playful again.
Yeah.
Number three, apparently there is something about being on wheels or on swings that unlocks something in our brain that enables us to be really present and access more oxytocin, apparently. So maybe that's...
Well, if you're not present, you've got some problems, I guess, when you're on rollerblades.
Yeah. But I tell you what I do that's even more fun now. I've just moved house and I've got 2 dogs that pull a lot on the leads. And I made the mistake early on of going out on my rollerblades with the dogs and getting...
Like huskies.
Like huskies, yeah. And going out of control. But now I've just learned to kind of let them pull me around the estate that I live in.
Cool. I need some video footage of this.
Oh, I've got lots. I'll send you one. It's really fun. So I love that. And I love it because as well, it integrates with my children if they're on bikes and stuff. It's something to experience together. I find that really small but really fun. Mm.
You know, and I think the best leaders, we all get a lot of pressure. There's a lot of stuff that's demanded on us. Knowing how to release that pressure and get the lightness back is just a key part of energy management, right? And you know, I'd be interested what you'd be like on rollerblades with like the dogs harnessed with Michael McIntyre in the headphones at the same time. Or is that probably a bit too much?
I could manage it. I think there's some capacity for lots in my head. Yeah, that would be funny. I don't know how I'd look to others, but...
Well, I've got this feeling you don't care too much.
No, not really.
No, I got that feeling. So what's in the future that's exciting? What's coming up?
So I am in an iteration of a bit of a rebrand. So for the past, I started 5 years ago. Past 3 years, I've been properly, rubber hitting the road. But as I'm finding it's a constant evolution, self-discovery, and the impact you can bring. I'm reiterating my offering and getting more finesse with it.
Yeah.
And so what is coming is a bit of a rebrand as well. I'm going to go back to my maiden name, which is another thing. So
it's big. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really big actually. I've been married 19 years, so that's huge. But within it, I think I really want to be tapping more into this fast-paced impact that people need. So some offerings I've got coming up are more of like a WhatsApp coaching space, coaching on the fly, things like that. And public speaking as well. I really want to be moving more and more into that, being the kind of a bit of light in a lot of conferences are quite boring.
Yes.
I know. So I really value content and I love intellect. So I want to be that kind of hybrid speaker person to give your brain a break from all the intense stuff, but kind of keep it going with some mindful tools to lead yourself better.
Super exciting. Well, look, we definitely need an antidote to boring conferences. We've all been there far too much.
Yeah.
And I think the world needs you now more than ever. So good on you, Dolly. Well, look, thank you so much for coming on. I knew we would have a great chat. Your energy is always fantastic. Good luck with everything, and hopefully we'll get to play again another day. Keep leaving those breadcrumbs out.
Yeah, 100%. Thanks, Chris. Great to be here.